Hey everyone, this is a breakdown of how much money I made in my 4th year as a CPA firm owner. Since this is my 4th video going over my financial journey, check out the first 3 videos if you haven't already. Shout out to Ignition for being a sponsor of these videos for the last 3 years. Here's a quick refresher of who I am. I'm 34. Yes, I'm UNC status now, as the kids would say. I started my firm in 2020. I've been a CPA since 2014. I started making YouTube content 3 years ago. The goal of these videos is to bring transparency to the accounting industry and hopefully influence the next generation of accountants, CPA or not. Similar to 2023, I didn't have any financial goals for 2024. I just wanted to not get burned out. This year was my senior year of firm ownership, if you will, and it kind of felt like I had made it to the end of my schooling. I put in the work, and now I'm just coasting till graduation. Except I forgot I was only graduating high school, and college was coming up, where I'd be a freshman again in a new environment with more independence and harder exams. I actually like thinking of firm ownership in this way. The first 4 years have really been about me getting a good foundation and a taste of what could be.
That's a 10.
I can see the next 4 years is about me getting serious about my studies and really graduating out of pretending to be an accounting firm to becoming an accounting firm. What's new? For 2024, I had a full-time employee, Gary,
G-Baby,
for the full year. I'm excited to now have 2 full years of time tracking so I can see where I spent my time. I started a new business, a community for aspiring and new firm owners. I'm going to be sharing the details on the financials for my new community and media company. My YouTube channel hit 8,000 subscribers, which means I added 5,000 more subscribers in a year. I started a tax-focused YouTube channel. It's been kind of dead lately, but I haven't given up on it. I got to be on a panel at a RightWorks conference. I led a session during a virtual conference by Financial Sense. I went to my first Tax Posium conference by NATP. I went to the Tax Twitter retreat and met some of my Tax Twitter heroes. I was on several podcasts. Looking back on 2024, it was actually a really good year of experiences. There was like 2 months during the summer where I felt like I barely worked because I was traveling so much. Even though I am introverted, like your stereotypical accountant, I put myself in so many situations where I had to get out of my comfort zone and be around and talk to a lot of people. One of the best things you can do for yourself is to put yourself out there. So much personal growth happens when you put yourself in nerve-wracking situations where you almost pass out from anxiety, or at least that's my case. Something I didn't expect this year was my content creation took a hit. I only published 18 videos and live streams last year. Oh wait, I also created 12 YouTube shorts on my new tax channel. To be fair, I was traveling way more during the times I'm usually able to create a lot of content. And a lot of my creative energy was directed at my new community. Don't worry, I'm gonna try to create more video content in 2025 compared to 2024. I miss making a video every week. The hours. This is a really cool part where I get to compare where I spent my time compared to 2023. The app that I use to track my time is called Rise. It's automated to where it knows if I'm in a specific software, it categorizes the time to client work and so on. I don't track my time per project, but instead I track the time I spend on client work, admin, meetings, content creation, etc. There is some mix up of client work and admin time since some apps can be either. Total tracked hours for 2024 was 2,030. That doesn't mean I worked all of those hours. A good chunk was probably on YouTube. Total work hours for 2024 was 1,658. Work hours includes client work, admin, content creation, meetings, Counter, my new community, conferences, X, and LinkedIn. How did busy season hours compare year over year? In January, I averaged 42 hours each week. February was 43.8 hours each week. March was 46.8 hours each week. The week of April 1st was 54.5 hours, and then 40 hours for the week of April 8th. April 1st was the busiest week for me out of the whole tax season. Client work hours for the full year was 696 hours compared to 653. Those are the hours I'm working on tax returns, consulting, and accounting. Gary helped shave off about a week's worth of client work. That may not seem like a lot, but I got to reinvest 40 hours into new client meetings and developing Counter. Admin hours were 390, content creation hours were 136, meetings 85 hours. I spent about 64 hours on Counter. That was time I could directly trace, but it was probably double that amount counting the time I spent thinking about it and talking about it outside of just being on my computer. LinkedIn was 45 hours. I've increased my time on LinkedIn because it turns out LinkedIn was an untapped source for my content, not just X. X gon' give it to you. A lot of my X content can be used on LinkedIn, and I've been able to grow my LinkedIn following at a much faster rate compared to X. There seems to be way more bots on LinkedIn though. I spent 115 hours on X. I consider LinkedIn and X work hours now because my content leads to people watching my videos, which leads to sponsors, and my content also points people to Counter, which leads to new members. So I ended up working about 160 hours less in 2024. I'm very satisfied with how much I worked overall. It feels like I worked a lot, but I averaged about 32 hours a week. And if you only count client work, admin time, and meetings, that's 22 and a half hours a week. I imagine my hours will be similar in 2025. They may even be higher since I am basically running 3 businesses now. Here's the kicker. The hours in 2025 should be spread out evenly from January through June because of a new scheduling system I'm implementing. By the way, if you're curious about Rise, check out the video description or comment below. They're not a sponsor of this video, but I do have an affiliate link. Ignition. There's one software that I use in my firm that I'm continually impressed with every year, and that's Ignition. Who's the sponsor of this video? Even if they weren't sponsoring this video, I would still be sharing how awesome this software is and how it makes someone that doesn't have sales skills look like they have sales skills. I use it almost every workday. Proposals, upselling work, collecting money, and getting engagement letters signed are such an important part of running a firm. And Ignition makes it so easy to send out over 100 proposals with packages and custom pricing for each one. 2024 saw the introduction of add-ons, which I got to implement in my 2025 proposals. Back in November, I did a live stream where I broke down my 2024 service packages. I highly recommend you checking out that video on YouTube if you need some ideas on creating options for your clients or using add-ons. Something I mentioned in the 2023 video was implementing their new surcharging feature where you can give clients an option to have an added fee if they choose to pay with a credit card versus bank ACH. So I saved a lot of money on payment processing and clients didn't give me any pushback. So Ignition pretty much paid for itself. Something new that I implemented with Ignition was upfront billing for personal tax returns. That's right, all of my 1040 clients paid 100% upfront. Show me the money! Only one client pushed back, and it was a huge success. They also launched a new tier for small operators that's cost effective if you don't have that much recurring work. Ignition isn't just for accounting firms, it's also a great software for other professional service firms, like financial advisors, consultants, and agencies. There's templates already created for you by Ignition. You can even use my template that I used last year for 1040s. There's other templates from other professionals that you can use as well, so you don't have to start from scratch. Start your free trial of Ignition below, and if you sign up, use my special code GRAF25 for 50% off for 3 months for the Pro and Pro subscription. For more information on Ignition, check out the link below in the video description or comment. The numbers. I had 33 new client meetings in 2024, and I converted about 50% to actual clients. You better believe having a full-time employee helped me have the capacity to meet with new clients throughout the busy season. So even though my fee minimums increased, my new client meetings almost doubled. I didn't increase my marketing because I've never advertised. Most of my new clients come from other CPAs that aren't accepting new clients. Income. If you watched my 2023 video, I made a prediction that my 2024 income may be similar or less than 2023 because I had made a lot of money off ERC projects. Remember ERC? Crazy times. I had also stopped contracting with Jason's Realize community. I would have loved to continue the trend of revenue growth like I had from 2021 to 2023, but 2024 wasn't a year of revenue growth for my firm. I'm tempted to get bummed out about that because sharing big growth numbers gets me internet points. It helps my ego and it makes me feel important. But I'm trying to convince myself that revenue growth doesn't always translate to happiness. The revenue growth that I experienced in 2022 and 2023 came at a cost. I was on the verge of burnout. Shoot, who am I kidding? I was burned out. I took a pay cut in 2024 in the hope of being able to free up capacity to allow more time with family and work on other things than client work. I would say mission accomplished because I didn't come out of the busy season wrecked like in previous years. And if you saw earlier, my hours have decreased by a material amount. Enough of that, let's talk about why you're really here, the dollars made. New for this video format is the introduction of financials for my other businesses. I'm going to talk about firm financials first, then Counter, then Graf Media. Firm income. I have several income sources, including accounting and bookkeeping, new client consultations, tax advisory, tax return preparation, and speaking engagements. I made $191,300 from preparing tax returns. I made $26,300 from tax advisory. Tax advisory includes year-end access for quick questions, projections, and consultations. Like I mentioned earlier, this big decrease year over year is from not having those sweet ERC projects. I made $32,000 from accounting services. I would love to grow this number in 2025. I made $5,400 from new client consultations. That's actually pretty cool because it means I had 35% more interest from potential clients wanting to work with me. I made $7,000 from speaking related engagements. Income conclusion. Total firm income for 2024 ended up being $262,000. But 2024 is going to be all about continuing to refine who I work with, building out our service offerings, and having fun. To be honest, I'm okay with how much money I brought in during 2024 because as you'll see later, I still took home a really good amount and all of the needs of my family were met. Now I'm going to break down how many tax returns we prepared and how much we made on average per return. 112 personal tax returns, 1 trust return, 8 partnership returns, 20 S corporation tax returns, 141 total tax returns prepared in 2024. This is what really matters, people. I'm preparing less returns, yet my tax return prep income is still increasing. And that's been the case since I started my firm. That makes the average price per return to be $1,360 compared to $1,150 in 2023. The average price should always be going up because I raise my rates every year. Expenses. Let's now go over expenses, aka write-offs.
Even know what a write-off is?
Yeah.
Contractor and employees, $54,000. Conferences and continuing education, $2,100. Membership dues, $900. I joined the NATP. General and administrative costs, which is a bunch of costs compiled to one category, $6,000. Software. Hold your breath. $38,300. Hey, software costs are going down. They should also be going down again in 2025, hopefully, because I'm not using Virtual Office to host my tax software anymore. Travel, $1,900. Video-related expenses, also $1,900. Refunds, $2,400. QBO subscriptions, $3,100. Total expenses, $110,600. Whew. Yeah, that's a lot. To think my expenses are in the six figures? It was just a few years ago when I wasn't even making more than $100,000, and now I have over $100,000 in expenses. So I need more than $100,000 of revenue before I break even and can start paying myself. Guys, that's crazy to think about. Gary is worth it though. Love you, G baby. Firm financial summary. Take-home pay for 2024 was roughly $151,400, which is a little more than what I took home in 2022. And I worked so much more in 2022 compared to 2024. Like, I was ready to nuke my whole client list in 2022 because I worked so hard during tax season, and something had to change. And a lot has changed for the better. My profit margin was about 58%. Is that good for a firm with a full-time employee and a very part-time contractor? Feels good to me. I just want to build a firm that me and my employee enjoy working at, and I want my clients to enjoy working with us. I'm not trying to scale to be a huge firm, but I still want to grow and evolve as a firm. Just know that I'm pretty lazy, and if I can do this, you can do it too. God has blessed me tremendously to be able to have an employee and then be a blessing to them. My anxiety is at an all-time low, and I feel really good about the future. The future for the firm. For 2025, I'm implementing a new scheduling system for my 1040 clients. Clients will choose when we prepare their tax return, and there are only a limited amount of spots before 4/15, so a good amount of clients will be extended. I'm expecting some churn for the new system, but it's going to give me capacity to work on my firm during busy season, and that's pretty much unheard of for a public accounting firm. So I'm hoping there's a good trade-off. Bonus content. Let's talk about Counter and Graf Media Co. Back in October, after almost a year of teasing, I launched a community called Counter, geared for new and aspiring firm owners. The community is hosted on the Circle community platform. I started Counter because a lot of people who are interested in running their own firm one day would reach out to me and ask if I could mentor them or coach them. I didn't have any capacity for one-on-one meetings, and if I said yes to one person, I would feel like I'd need to say yes to everybody. So I had to tell them I couldn't help them at the moment. Because of all this demand for help starting an accounting firm, I thought, what if I started a community where I could help lots of people at once? And the idea of Counter was born. We help upskill members to run firms that are counter to the traditional ways of public accounting. There's already over 230 members, and we're about to launch our first mastermind cohort. Check out the link in the video description for more information. I owe to Jason Stats, who has his own accounting firm community called Realize. Jason showed me how it could be done and what was possible. He even ran a series in Realize all about launching communities that I got to participate in and learn how to do a launch event. If you're an accounting firm owner and you're not a good fit for Counter, I highly recommend Jason's community, Realize. Counter. So what are the financials like of a new community that was operational for 2 months? It made $25,000 in membership income. I started at $50 a month for the first 200 members, but right now it's at $75 a month. As the community grows and we offer more value, the membership fee will increase. I can easily see the monthly fee increasing to at least $100 a month by the end of 2025. For expenses, there's $300 in refunds, $300 for newsletter software, $2,500 for other software. I just love software. $1,100 for speaker fees, $1,000 for startup costs, $1,500 for payment processing, The net income for Counter ends up being $18,300. While Counter does seem like an overnight success, the community was actually 5 years in the making of posting on X, making YouTube videos, and posting on LinkedIn. I spent countless hours building an audience and giving away good information for free to be able to build a high membership count so fast. Graf Media Co. How much did I make as a content creator? I was monetized at the end of 2023, so for all of 2024, I received ad revenue from Google. YouTube is owned by Google, if you didn't know that. Google paid me $2,000 in ad revenue, which is actually really cool. Then I made money having sponsors for videos. I didn't really have that many sponsors in 2024, but I didn't really try to get sponsors and was pretty lazy in that realm. For 2025, I'd love to get more of my videos sponsored. It's not that important, but it'd be cool so I can afford to make really cool videos. I ended up making $7,600 from sponsored videos. Total income for Graf Media Co. was $9,600. Expenses were payment processing of $30 and $4,200 of video production related expenses. I bought a lot of gear that I'll be able to use for a long time. This brings the net income for Graf Media Co. to $5,370. Total take home between my 3 businesses was $175,000. I rounded down. Props to you if you're still watching this video. I love you, and I hope this video provided you with some good information. Your encouraging comments on my videos are what drives me to continue doing this. Thank you. Oh, if you're interested in winning a year's worth of free Counter membership, I will select a random person that mentions Counter and Graf Media Co. in a comment below,